Hey there, football owners. Week 11, week in review. Let's cut right to the chase. Last week I said I thought I had 6-0 worth of picks, and if it wasn't for Graham, I'd have been 0-6. So, not good. No, it wasn't a good week. It was a great week for was Devon. So, not that he scored a lot of points, he didn't need to, but he set the single regular season record for wins. So Devon's 11-0. I handed him a gift, and it dropped me way back in the standings. So playoff picture got a little murky. I'm two bold predictions that are looking okay. So I got Calder, one game out of a playoff spot, owns the tiebreaker over me if he gets it. And Tom Brady sucks. He's probably not going to be a keeper. And if he is, it's just a foolish move. So, I sucked at picking this week. Got a couple people. There's still only one team guaranteed a playoff spot right now. Two teams, other than Devon, are pretty much in, but one more week. Only two eliminated, too, so should be in second, but I'm not. All right, let's get to it. So, my review. My game versus Devon's game. The Chub train kept rolling with 97 points. First time under 100 points for Devon, and he wins by 31. So, not a lot of great games on my side. But who was a stud in this matchup? Zeke caught a 20-yard touchdown screen pass that he had no business scoring, no business catching. That helped Devon. He was Devon's leading non-Nick Foles scorer. So I'll say Zeke and Andrews for Devon led the charge. Both had good games. MVP of the matchup would probably be Randall Cobb if I wouldn't only scored 66 points. But Randall Cobb, last minute insertion when Howard went out injured, was 17.5 points. So 2 good weeks in a row for Randall Cobb, so he's eating up. Big stinkers. Deshaun Watson. How good does Baltimore look? But Deshaun Watson, less than 2 points. He had more turnovers than that. Other stinkers on my side was my entire defense. Nick Bosa, 2 points. Luke Kuechly, 6 points. And Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I thought would be a great play, 1 point. No good. Any stinkers on Devon's side? I mean, his D-line had 1 point. Our kicker sucked. But, can't really call them stinkers on Devon's side. I guess, if you had to pick one, I'd say Landon Collins had a below average game, but he still outscored the other DB by 3.5 points. So, really, stinkers are all on my side. So, there you have it. Devon whooped me. Yep. Put me back to 6-5. Next game of the week. Next game. Not game of the week. It would not be a game of the week. Graham trounces Yip by 44 points. So, good game for Graham. Christian McCaffrey's team scored 3 points, but Christian McCaffrey got 19 fantasy points. So, unstoppable. Mike Thomas, best wide receiver in fantasy. So, Graham's got the best running back and the best wide receiver. Who else was really great for Graham? Marlon Mack. But, bad news, broken hand. So that kind of sucks. Gallup comes through for Graham, 14.8. My old kicker friend, Justin Tucker, 11 points, way better than Joey Sly's 3. Roquan Smith, 11.5 points. Graham got Matt Ryan back, so good results for Graham. His team is starting to move forward. On the other side of the ball, Mahomes had a down game. That field was awful. Nobody played well in Mexico. I don't think they should ever play there again. Not because I don't want them to go there, but the field just sucks. Um, Philip Dorsett, 9 points. Tyrell Williams, 8 points. Those are good days, but no real studs. Will Lutz was the kicker, 10 points, second highest scorer on his team. Stinkers, both tight ends. O.J. Howard, Jack Doyle, 1 point combined. The Tampa Bay Bucks targeted Cameron Brate 14 times. Cameron Brate is not near the tight end O.J. Howard is. So I don't know what's going on there, but O.J.'s not so good. Ronald Jones. New Orleans is a good run defense, but he did nothing for Graham. But, Leonard Fournette, bad game, 5.7 points. It really just wasn't. Nobody was really, really bad for Yip. He only scored 78 points, but nobody was good either. And I get to play Yip next week, so let's talk about that schedule for a second. So before the season, we randomized schedule so we wouldn't play the same schedule for the 6th straight year. I thought when we did that, it would still take your week 1 and 2 opponent and put them in week 12 and 13. That would have been cool. That's the way it always has been. Nope. Totally randomized the final 2 weeks. So you get 2 rematches this week coming up. The first one is Hahn versus Matty Ice, which was a 38-point victory for Matty Ice. But he's probably not going to get 40 points out of Dak Prescott next week, but fantasy MVP this week, probably Dak Prescott, 40 points. Julian Edelman threw a touchdown, or else he would have had a bust game, but he didn't. He got 12 points. Keenan Allen finally came through, got in the end zone. Chris Godwin got in the end zone, so real good flex for Matty Ice. Looking at Jason's side of the ball, Todd Gurley, great. Finally a game where they featured Todd Gurley, so maybe you think Sean McVay isn't dumb. Jason's defense might have been the only defense that was worse than mine. No points, Dante Fowler. 2 points, Corey Littleton. 2 points, Justin Simmons. 4 points total with 3 players. So, Damian Williams, bust for Hahn. Eric Ebron, bust for Hahn. Manny Sanders, bust for Hahn. Not fair. Recovering from an injury. Brian Hill, bust for everybody who got Brian Hill. And Jameis did Jameis things. If he could just play me every week, Jameis would be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. You want to talk about busts? Let's talk about Matty Ice's team. Yes, he won by 38. Yes, he scored 100 points. But David Johnson, 0. Tyreek Hill, injury, 0. George Kittle, doubtful to out all week, still in the lineup. That'll be an 8th rounder, please. Set your lineups. Other than that, everybody did pretty good for Matty Ice. Like I said, when your quarterback scores 40, you're probably going to win. So, out of those 3 games, I had Graham right. Just FYI, everyone else I picked wrong. High-scoring team of the week. Would you have guessed it would have been Jason Calder? I wouldn't. I picked him to lose. And he won by 38. Let's talk about that. Josh Allen, 39 points. Finally, breakout game for Josh Allen. John Brown, finally, breakout game for John Brown. Who traded Jason Calder, John Brown? That's right, I did, for Odell Beckham Jr. And I gave a draft pick. John Brown outscored Odell Beckham by 21.7 points this week. I lost to Devon by 31. Those extra 21 would have really helped. Still would have lost, though. Anyway, you guys you think are going to be good? Not so good. But great combo there. Jamison Crowder up in the lineup. He got almost 14 points. Kyle Rudolph didn't just catch 1-yard touchdown passes. He had to run a little bit. Outscored Hunter Henry. So, tight end finally comes through for Calder. Defense for Calder. Buda Baker again. Stud. 12.5 points. Tremaine Edwards, 10.5 points. Cameron Jordan, good day on D-line, 5 points. So, I mean, you're looking at that, pretty awesome. If Cooper Kupp would have scored any points, he might have been the highest scoring team of the season. Over on Dan's side, Kyler Murray, obviously a keeper. Like, really doing great things for fantasy. Calvin Ridley finally breaks out. 20 points for Calvin Ridley. 13. Kamara finally has a decent game, 12 points. Hunter Henry keeps going strong, 8.9. But I mean, outscored on defense big time. So Jonathan Allen, 2.5. Devon Bush, 3.5. Harrison Smith, 3. So that's under 10. Under 10 for a defense versus, almost 30 for a defense. But let's talk about some busts because they're fun. Amari Cooper is the only Dallas Cowboys receiver who did nothing. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he just couldn't do it. Just a regular old Amari Cooper disappears for no reason at all. Cooper Kupp, 2 shit games in a row. So, sorry for cursing. Sorry, Tanya. Cooper Kupp, not good. What do you say? Calder scored 141 points. Plays Deke next week. Both teams 1 game out of a playoff spot. Somebody is moving up to 6 wins. 6 wins? Yep, someone's moving up to 6-6. Speaking of Deke, picked him to win. Playing Danny, why not? With James Conner going for 1 point on Thursday night. Chris Boswell, the kicker, going for 1 point on Thursday night. Cameron Hayward, the D lineman, going for 5.5 points. So, look good with the pick for Deke. He outscored me. He would have beat me. 69 points. The corpse of Tom Brady. Let's talk about the good players first. Drew Brees, bounce back, 27 points. Great day. Newly acquired DJ Chark. Devon didn't need him, but picks up right where he left off. Minshew, Foles, doesn't matter. DJ Chark looks like a stud. 22 points. Marvin Jones, traded for him. Matt Breida. Do you know how many points he outscored Matt Breida by this week? 15.9 because Breida didn't play. Thought I was getting a deal. Thought, what could I be missing? Turns out, Danny knew. Who's the dummy? Guess it's me. So those were the 3 biggies. Drew Brees, Chark, Marvin Jones. For Derek, Josh Jacobs keeps rolling. If Deke were to ever give up, somebody wanted to trade for Josh Jacobs. What's this? Deke told me today he is giving up. Somebody should trade for Josh Jacobs. He's not going to keep him over Saquon Barkley. I mean, I'd do it, but I don't have any draft picks left to trade. I will be a bystander at the draft. You guys need somebody to just commentate on the draft? I can do it. I only need to pick a couple of rounds, then I get a big long break. I digress. Austin Eckler, really good game. 15.2 points down in Mexico. But he was probably the best player down there. Could have been better, but DJ Moore, target machine. Let's talk about busts. James Conner, already talked about him. Mohamed Sanu. Apparently, all we needed was Darby and Mills to come back to have a decent secondary because Philly's defense made the Patriots' offense look bad. They won because Philly's offense looked worse, but what do you do? So, Mohamed Sanu, 1.97 points. That's really the big bust for Danny. Who was bust for Derek? Marquise Hollywood Brown, 2.3. Khalil Mack against a crap O-line. Or she thought was a crap O-line. Turns out no. Khalil Mack, 0 points. No sacks. Nobody in that game looked good other than Todd Gurley. but you didn't think Khalil Mack would have 0 at a linebacker position. Like I said earlier, the corpse of Tom Brady was out there. Game manager Tom Brady. That bold prediction, that's got to be true. You can't keep Tom Brady. He's been on your team for 6 years. He's been on your real team for 20 years. He got to go. It's Jimmy G time. Another wrong pick. Thanks for nothing, Derek. I need you up there with me. You're the only one around me that I have a tiebreaker over. I need you, Derek. Don't give up. Don't do it. You're giving up, aren't you? Game of the week should have been... I selfishly picked me and Devon. However, should have been Drew versus Rich. Looked like Drew was going to whitewash him. Not Rich. We got a team that's 11-0 and a team that's 7-4. I think the team that's 7-4 is the favorite to win the championship. He already holds the record for the lowest score ever in a game. It's 40 points. I tried to beat it, and I couldn't this week. But he scored 121 points in a loss. His team's highest scoring team we got is a juggernaut. Baker Mayfield scored. Now he plays Miami this week. So, what do we got? Oh, look at me. I called Dak Prescott the fantasy MVP this week. It should have been Lamar Jackson. Going to be the real MVP probably. 41 fantasy points again for Lamar Jackson. He was a great draft pick by Drew. All the people sitting there thinking I should draft Lamar Jackson and waiting too long, and Drew snags him. Stud. So who was great in this game? 128 to 121. I picked Rich. Again, wrong. Don't mind picking wrong when the guy scores 121 points. 1-5. So, Mayfield, 26 points. Dalvin Cook, 12 points. Travis Kelce, 15 points. Mark Ingram, 20 points. Joe Mixon, 16 points. Jamal Adams, 10 points. Just the list goes on and on and on for good games. That's Rich's team. He's the one who lost. All right, let's look at Drew. Lamar Jackson, 41 points. Le'Veon Bell, 15 points. Julio Jones, 9 points. Usually I only talk about double digits, but Zach Ertz, 9 points. On Stephon Gilmore. Good game for Ertz. Cortland Sutton, almost 14 points. He's really turned it on this year. Even with a crappy quarterback, he's a stud. Joe Schobert, 18.5 points. That matchup was so good that we get to watch it all over again next week. That is one of the rematches. Talk about great. Talk about hard schedules. Drew gets, in his double games, Rich and me. Rich gets Drew and Matty Ice. Those are some hard schedules. I mean, Rich's team, I think, is the favorite. It's not a stretch to say he could end up 7-6. Maybe we all end up 7-6, and then Devon is sitting there at 11 or 13-0. But that's the way it goes. There were some bums in this game. Kenny Golladay, Rich had Deebo Samuel on his bench who went off again. I wonder, is he thinking Kenny Golladay needs to hit the bench and Deebo needs to come in? You never know. You never know. Is he the guy trying to trade for Josh Jacobs to take over for that bum Tevin Coleman, taking all Matt Breida carries? Who knows? Bums. Allen Robinson. It's not really Allen Robinson's fault that he has one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, nor is it Tyler Boyd's fault that he has the worst quarterback in the NFL. However, they're both on Drew's team, and he still scored 128 points this week and won. So, great job. Great picks, Drew. Good lineup. So yeah, there you have it. There's all 6 games. It's a little sad. 6-5. Everyone around me holds a tiebreaker over me. I've been in the playoffs every single year. Here's the good news. I get Mike Yip this week. Bad news for him. Good news for me. So, we'll see what happens. So, looking forward to next week. Trade talk. Trade deadline is Friday. So, if you want to improve your team, if you want to try and compete with Rich, which we all do, I would say Devon, but that trade he pulled for Tyler Lockett, great trade for both teams. Danny gets Chark, who's good enough to be a stud keeper. He's top 10 wide receiver and a third-round draft pick. And Devon stacks Tyler Lockett on top of Russell Wilson. If they have big games in the playoffs, can anyone catch Devon? Devon versus Rich is what the final is looking like it could be. But, like I said with those schedules, there's a chance they could end up in the same division. Graham's sitting there going, I've got the best running back and the best wide receiver. Well, don't forget about me. And I'm defending champ. I'm sitting there going, I got to win because I have no draft for next year. It should be a great playoffs for whoever makes it. But Dan Evans is selling. Jason Holland is selling. Rich isn't selling. Derek is selling. Get out there. Make your trades. What are you waiting for? DJ Chark was like a 15th round pick this year. You don't need high picks. You just need to not miss on all your picks like I did. No, wait. I missed on all my picks. Don't miss on all your picks. Do what Devon did. Do what Rich did. Pick good teams. You got this. Go trade for their players. Wait. Don't trade. Let me in the playoffs. Let's see what we can do. So anyway, that's all for this week. Set your lineups. If people are injured, they shouldn't be in there. There's a rule against that. And the more 8th rounders we take away, the higher that boatload of mid-round picks I've got is. So, there we go. Devon. He ripped my helmet off and he beat me over the head with it. And then he kicked me while I was down. And beat me with Nick Foles. Folk hero Nick Foles. It's a sad day. Anyway, that's all for this week. I've babbled long enough. Just remember, if women don't find you handsome, Devon, there's always fantasy.